Nigel Farage bluntly laid out his answer before naming two politicians who are in the wrong party in a backhanded invite for them to defect. Nigel Farage has admitted it is extremely unlikely that he will join the Conservative Party. The Reform UK leader again invited friends in Rishi Sunak's party to join him. And Mr Farage specifically named former Home Secretary Suella Braverman and Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg as two politicians who are in the wrong party. The Conservatives and Reform UK are neck and neck in the polls, leading to fears of a split in the vote which will pave the way for Sir Keir Starmer to secure a supermajority. The Tories have warned voters that supporting reform could lead to Labour holding power for a generation. But asked if he could join the Conservative Party, Mr Farage told GB News, "There isn't a Tory party. There isn't one. Suella Braverman wants to marry me politically, and David Cameron says you shouldn't go near me, and Michael Heseltine thinks I'm Oswald Mosley. What Tory party? I think it's extremely unlikely. My ambition is for this party to establish a beachhead right into Parliament and to use that to build a mass movement over the course of the next 5 years. I don't think the Conservative Party will reform itself. There are people in there that are friends of mine, who I'm close to. I very much hope they come and join me." Suella and people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, they're in the wrong party. Reform's plans imply spending an extra £141 billion a year on tax cuts and various policy pledges, paid for by £156 billion of savings in public spending and an assumption of increased tax revenue from 1% minus 1.5% extra economic growth. But the Institute for Fiscal Studies think tank said reform's plans are based on extremely optimist assumptions about growth and the sums do not add up. He was asked for his response to the Institute of Fiscal Studies' reaction to Reform UK's manifesto, which said its sums do not add up. Mr Farage claimed economists at the IFS had also criticised Labour and the Conservatives' manifesto. He added, "This will be very difficult, for any established or establishment group. This is going to be difficult and I'll tell you why. This is radical. Liz Truss didn't propose spending cuts. Here, we're proposing enormous spending cuts to fund what we believe is going to be a huge boost to the economy. And huge emphasis in here, by the way, on things like small business. 5.5 million men and women out there running their own businesses. They hate government because no one's on their side. I think the most radical thing in here, I think the most exciting thing in here, and you mark my words, this will be popular within 2 or 3 years with everybody, is we have to lift the threshold at which people start paying tax from £12,500 to £20,000. Why? Make work pay. Those people trapped on benefits can suddenly go to work and genuinely be better off. So, number 1, you get people off benefits and going back to work. Number 2, those on low incomes will actually be better off, genuinely better off, and number 3, you reduce the need for masses of unskilled migration." Mr Farage launched his party's plan in a deprived area of Merthyr Tydfil, in an attempt to show what a Labour government would be like. But while Reform is targeting Labour votes, its main objective is replacing the Tories as the main party on the right of British politics. The Institute for Fiscal Studies Deputy Director Carl Emerson said, "Reform UK proposes tax cuts that it estimates would cost nearly £90 billion per year, and spending increases of £50 billion per year. It claims that it would pay for these through £150 billion per year of reductions in other spending, covering public services, debt interest and working age benefits. This would represent a big cut to the size of the state. Regardless of the pros and cons of shrinking the state, or of any of their specific measures, the package as a whole is problematic. Spending reductions would save less than stated, and the tax cuts would cost more than stated, by a margin of tens of billions of pounds per year.